and thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Just Ask Freeman, of course, by Freeman Owen Jr., the president and CEO of Financial Sources, Inc., helping thousands of families live out their retirement dreams, serving this wonderful metropolitan area, of course, Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. for over 45 years. And I'm Rebecca Powers. I was a longtime news anchor for an ABC affiliate and an investigative reporter. And since retiring, I am now a consumer advocate. And it is my honor to be with such a wonderful gentleman. Great to see you, Freeman.
Fantastic. Good to see you this week. I really appreciate you being here. We're going to cover some great topics. But how did it go this week with family? And what was special that you did possibly this week?
You asking me personally?
I'm asking you personally.
My family did have a little bout with a hurricane, and we all did fine,
okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, because I was wondering how that was
Yes.
turning out for you.
Yes, it all went well. We had quite a time in Katrina. My news team actually won an Emmy during Hurricane Katrina because a humanitarian Emmy for staying on the air when our newsroom was literally being torn apart. And my husband and I actually swam during Katrina and survived.
Right?
So,
wow.
Yeah, I guess we've been together 3 years, and I've never even told you that. We're always talking about, our families.
Yeah.
But, I want to start today. They say timing is everything, and being prepared, just like in a storm. Timing your retirement is what so many people need your wonderful advice on.
Yeah, that's an important important point. Some folks retire prematurely.
Yeah.
Giving up several years of building their retirement accounts. And then the realization hits them like, gee, I came out at 55.
Right.
I really don't have too much money or enough assets that would last longer than themselves. And they make terrible mistakes. I've seen them. They come and they say, well, I've been retired 5 years now. I'm now 60. But Freeman, do I have enough money? And I see the impact of retiring too soon. Number one, they're not eligible for the Social Security. And I mentioned before that sometimes when they get, quote, financial advice from friends and relatives, and they say, well, get your Social Security at age 62.
Yeah. Turn it on.
Turn it on. But the person who is receiving this so-called advice don't understand that there are consequences of filing for Social Security too soon. Here's a good example.
Okay.
Let's say they filed their age 60, they came out at 55. There is, a 7-year gap in income, okay, because now there's no steady income coming in other than retirement income, and that's usually what? Fixed.
Right.
All righty. So they're 55. They say, well, I'll get my Social Security at age 62. But what about the income gap between 55 and 62?
Right.
Now, the thing is, once they reach age 62, Rebecca, they file. The consequences is as follows. 30% reduction in Social Security benefits, that is 30% less than what they would receive at full retirement age 67, or now is 67 if you're born after 1960. So they look at the Social Security check. They said, gee, that's $1,500 to $1,800 less than I would have received at age 67. Now, they learned about this, what?
A little too late.
Yeah. 7 years later. Now, they only get one shot. If they wish to refile, they have to pay back the benefit they received in that first year. Well, they might not have the money for that.
Right, they've spent it. And it's taxed. So that's another problem.
That's another problem, too, is that the Social Security benefit is taxed. And, of course, the Social Security and Medicare taxes that they paid while gainfully employed, here come taxes again on their Social Security benefit. So that's a big problem. So what we do is we try to resolve that problem for the client, and it depends on the income or, income-producing assets. Now, we know that Social Security only covers 36% of your retirement. With the scarcity, I should put it this way, of pensions, alrighty, pensions, only 7.2% of all the industries in the U.S. even offer a pension now. So what are we thrown into? Employer-sponsored retirement accounts. Now, we have to find out whether that person at 55 really had enough money in their employer-sponsored retirement account. Notice how I put emphasis on employer-sponsored retirement accounts. Number one, there's a restriction on distribution. Under the age of 59 and a half, well, there's a 10% penalty. So you got to be cognizant of the type of taxes that are assessed on the type of income that you receive. Your Social Security, you're taxed twice. You may be penalized receiving these funds from an employer-sponsored retirement account on the restrictions on those distributions. And so you begin to look at, gee, I don't have enough money that's going to last a lifetime. Well, there are ways of which we can come up with solutions to help that person who prematurely retired too early, or I should say prematurely retired.
Yeah.
There are plans. And something I don't like is that they didn't know, maybe educated, but never privy to financial literacy. No one, when you...
we were never taught that in schools.
Never taught.
And if you don't have a written plan, how do you know exactly when to retire for you particularly? And that's, I think, your issue with the big boxes. They'll say, oh, you'll be fine if you take 3 or 4% out. This should last you the rest of your life. You take the question marks out. You say, none of this should stuff. We need to know exactly what your situation is. When you meet someone, how do you pinpoint exactly the right time? Because we're talking about timing.
Well, what I do, too, is they've seen the show Just Ask Freeman. And they come and they just ask me. They say, well, Freeman, I'm in a situation here. You had indicated that some folks who have prematurely retired, I need some help.
Yeah. Am I ready?
Am I ready? We talked about retirement readiness. Now, when they enter my office and I list the expenses, like their mortgages, utilities, transportation, we list all those expenses down. Credit card debt, school loans, some writing. And then I notice when we get to the income producing assets, all the money they have, they may have a pension and they may not. So I look at their 401ks. Now they'll have a pension if they're in the federal government. They have a employer-sponsored retirement account.
Yeah, they're lucky if they do.
Yeah, a TSP or a thrift savings plan. But for the most part, all they have is an employer-sponsored retirement account, like a 401k. They may have some savings. And if they are riddled with credit card debt, I would suggest you may have to go back to work. That's terrible. You have to go back to work.
And nobody wants to do that.
And they didn't want to do that. Another thing is healthcare expenses. I query them.
Yeah. What's your plan?
What's your plan? Did your employer allow for portability of your health insurance? Well, no, Mr. Freeman, I don't have any health insurance.
So those are the gaps you look for.
Those are gaps. I look for those gaps. And if they don't have enough income producing assets to fill those gaps, my opinion is that they are not suitable for the service.
Yeah.
You have to face reality.
We already need to take a quick break, believe it or not, but I want to give you that phone number, 833-414-SAFE. That's 833-414-7233. Tell them what it's like when you first come in for that complimentary. That means absolutely free. Sit down.
Okay, when they come in, we welcome them. They could feel that, gee, Freeman is looking out for our best interests, and they can feel make them feel comfortable. They relax. Sometime I share with them. I say, "Would you like to have coffee?" There's other goodies that's here, and we just kind of get to know each other.
Yes.
And to see whether or not I'm a good fit.
Right.
All right. Because what I do is I look on that other side of that desk and I say, now, if that was my parents, what kind of service would I render? What want them to have and render to them? And I look at that and I say, well, I'll give everything I have to them to let them realize, hey, this guy is looking out for my best interests. He cares about my retirement concerns. And little do I know at the time that they prematurely retired. But folks, let me tell you how I do this. I come up with solutions. That's why I always say, just ask Freeman. There's a QR code there. I want you to take your phone and photograph that QR code. Schedule a free complimentary, or I should say free consultation. I don't have to charge you any fees. And get a second opinion as well, because you may have gotten an opinion after you have separated from service or retired, but you just felt like, gee, I better just ask Freeman because I didn't feel that these people really cared about my concerns. And like I said, I look at the clients, potential client, I say, now, I would want my mom and dad to feel very comfortable, and especially when we're talking about income producing assets.
Amen.
All righty. So, folks, what you do, just ask Freeman, get your complimentary consultation, and get your second opinion. If you're in a situation where you prematurely have retired, you got to consider your health coverage. You got to consider the fact that you're going to need bunnies that will last you longer than you. There are a lot of different factors when it comes to retirement. And sometime when you listen to the advice of others who are not trained and they don't realize the consequences that if you follow that particular advice, what can happen. So give us a call at 833-414-7233. Call today and get a written plan. You don't have to worry about fees. Learn how to navigate through retirement after you have separated from service or retired prematurely. There are solutions to that. Again, that number is 833-414-7233.
That's right. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right.
I was a student at Howard University and was transferred over to Federal City College at that time. I got a couple degrees in mathematics and statistics. I worked as a mathematician, mathematical statistician, climbed the ranks there, reached a pinnacle in my late 20s. This opportunity in the financial services world spanned it now over 40 plus years. It all started with me having an interest in mathematics, science, technology, and engineering. Started in the business, got licensed. I didn't have any fear. Let me share a personal story. I've been married to the same lady for 51 years. When I quit working as a mathematical statistician, she says, well, you've been successful in everything else. I'm 27 years old at the time. You'll be successful in this. And there was no looking back. I'm not the type of person that could work a job per se. I had to have, and a quote, I got this from a great mentor, freedom with responsibility. Because I always say, if you do this, you get nothing back. But if you do this and give, blessings flow. And that's basically how I started in this business and how my career started. Well, I have two careers, the first one and, of course, this one, which I love the best.
Welcome back to Just Ask Freeman. We're talking about when to retire, when to turn things on to have the best, most efficient retirement so your money lasts until the end of your life. We talked about the timing, and some people retire too early. When is there a time when you should delay?
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk and discuss delaying. You should consider that your retirement. Number one, You can continue to add to your employer-sponsored retirement account. You still take advantage of tax deferral. There's still other benefits, and you can allocate it to different strategies in that employer-sponsored retirement account. Now, the reason I define it like employer-sponsored retirement account, I wanted to cover the 401k, the 403b, the TSP, the 401k. That retirement account is controlled, and there are distribution rules with those type of accounts. Continue to do so. Continue to add to that account. Delay taking your Social Security benefits. That is, I have a strategy so that you can have income from the time that you're thinking about retirement up to full retirement age 67. Therefore, you can make all the money you wish without any penalties. You can delay even further up to age 70, and it's a 32% increase in Social Security benefits.
Yeah.
All right. Now, also, you must consider the fact that take advantage of the opportunity to get your Medicare at age 65.
You do suggest that?
I suggest that.
Okay.
If you don't, there are consequences. That's why you need the financial literacy. I know many of you are educated, but again, you're not privy to the financial literacy that is necessary so that you'll have a nice, comfortable retirement. Well, what you do about that? Just ask Freeman. See that QR code? Get your free consultation, and included in that is your Social Security report, a written, efficient tax plan, so we do our tax planning. So this is all available to you by just calling 833-414-7233, 833-414-7233. Again, that is 833-414-SAFE. I want you to call that number because we've been serving the Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. metropolitan area for over 45 years, and we're doing a great job of doing it with over 4,000 plus clients. I love it. Able to provide the financial literacy that you need to navigate through your retirement comfortably and sleep well at night. One more thing. If you delay your retirement after age 70 and you have an employer-sponsored retirement account, I'm going to make this quick. Now, with the Secure Act 2.0, there are new withdrawal rules referred to as required minimum distributions, RMDs. After 70 and a half, you start taking the RMD at age 73. Now, we're going to have to take a quick break, I do believe, coming up here. You know, the clock on the wall, it just keeps on moving, Rebecca.
Time flies when you're having fun.
That's it. And when you have info that you can provide to your viewing audience, like I've been enjoying for several years now, 8, 9 years, just ask Freeman. Go to your QR code, schedule your free consultation, get your free Social Security report included in that, and a tax-efficient plan. And one of the things my co-host always says, Freeman, the big box, you can move away from that big box and have a specialist to take care of you and your concerns. So do we have to take a break now?
Yes, it's about a very personal relationship, and I think that's why so many of your more than 4,000 clients also come from referrals to friends and family. This show is about educating you, but that business always comes from referrals, and that says so much about Mr. Wonderful Owen. All right, thank you for being with us. Stay with us, though. We're going to talk more about how you can save potentially big bucks by tax planning forward. Stay tuned.
Ready.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Just Ask Freeman. I'm Rebecca Powers, and each week we explore all of your questions. Am I ready for retirement? How can I really maximize my days and my money? So much of what you have preached for so many years, sir, is about tax planning forward. What your CPA does is a history lesson. He looks at the last 12 months, gets you to maybe pay the least, hopefully. But tax planning forward is so incredibly powerful. We were never taught this,
Right.
but you know the laws are the same for every American, but we're just not privy to them. How can you save me big, big bucks in the long run?
You know, Rebecca, although we can retire, but we don't retire from what?
Paying taxes.
That's it.
Or paying the bills, too.
That's it. Taxes is a big part of our outlay.
Yeah.
I mentioned briefly the taxation on Social Security benefits.
Right.
Let me kind of reiterate what happens is that I've heard folks, well, my friends told me that I won't live to full retirement age 67, and I'm going to get my Social Security benefits at age 62. Okay, well, they must have looked down the line there and says, well, we're going to predict your life expectancy. But it's a terrible mistake, because
really
once
is.
you file for your Social Security benefits, and I want to reiterate this, at full retirement age 62, two things. Number one, if you're separated from service, all right, or I like to use that word, retired from your being or gainfully employed, there's a big penalty if you file at age 62. That penalty is a 30% reduction in your Social Security benefits. Now, you've been paying Medicare and Social Security tax for years. Now you're ready to receive and participate in the Social Security program. All right. 30% is a huge cost, penalty to pay once you have retired. Now, the thing is, what if you're working? I mentioned the fact there's a cap. There's a limit on how much you can earn. You earn a six-figure income for every $2 that you earn on the job. Your Social Security benefit now is reduced by $1. That's a 50% penalty.
Oof.
You know, like,
Massive.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And here's something else. Let's wait to the full retirement age, 67. Let's decide to get our Social Security benefits prematurely prior to the right month and age, or I should say, in the year you turn full retirement age, you prematurely get your Social Security benefits there. You're still, you're working, but for every $3 that you earn, Rebecca, the Social Security benefit is reduced by $1. So that's a 30% reduction, okay? So there's taxation on your Social Security benefits. There's FICA. While you're working, you're paying taxes. And you say, well, I know the audience say, tax. Well, I got a solution with tax planning. Just to ask Freeman. Claim your space. Claim your time. Claim the time that you like to see me. There's a QR code there. Or you can call us at 833-414-7233 and get a tax-efficient plan, a Social Security report, and you don't have to, I don't even charge fees, folks. And again, like I said, I look across the desk there and I say, suppose that was my parents, and they are entrusting, they have to trust someone with hundreds of thousands or either millions of dollars of their retirement plans. Will they guide them the right way?
Yes.
Yes. Just ask Freeman. Again, call us at 833-414-7233, and we'll have a tax-efficient plan, the Social Security report. I don't have to charge fees. Come and see us. Again, just ask Freeman. If you want the solutions, which I have, when it comes to taxation on your Social Security benefits, and also the option of whether you work or not. So again, I like to Oh, wow, the clock on the wall is just moving so fast, especially when you're having fun.
And we always have fun. I want to mention one more thing that really changed my life is that fixed indexed annuity. You have taught us that you can take a lot of that money from your 401k. You can move it to a secure insurance product like a fixed indexed annuity. And when the market goes down, you lose zero. Now, when it goes all the way up, you don't get all the gains. But that helps me sleep well at night. So that's another beautiful option that you present. You can do all of these things. Let's talk briefly about the insurance products and how it gives you safety.
Okay. I don't know. I've rolled over mega millions of dollars from the employer-sponsored retirement accounts into a fixed index annuity. It's where you track a major industry, but, or I should say index, but you're not in the market. So the market goes down, no loss of principal, no loss of interest. So that zero is your
my hero.
That's right. You want to know more about fixed index annuities and how tax deferral will help, how to minimize your taxation only on distribution, but you have tax deferral over a longer period of time, compounding that interest, just ask Freeman. Call us at 833-414-7233. That's 833-414-SAFE. Or there's a QR code there, and schedule a complimentary consultation. Rebecca, you raised so many topics that we can cover and discuss when we have the free consultation, tax efficient report, Social Security report. Again, I see we're having fun now. I see the clock on the wall is running away from us. Again, call us at 833-414-7233 and get your consultation and have the peace of mind knowing that someone is in your corner and looking out for your best interest when it comes to your retirement.
Absolutely. And whoever is your financial planner, maybe you are absolutely perfect. And if so, Freeman will tell you that as well. Remember, you can't get a second opinion from the person who gave you the first. We love you. We thank you for joining us. If anything we talk about resonates with you, why hasn't my advisor brought up these points? Then you definitely need to give Freeman a call. He and his amazing wife, Miss Carolyn, been together more than 50 years, again, serving almost 5,000 clients right here in Maryland, Virginia, and the D.C. area. We'll see you again next week. Thanks so much for being with us.